A trimmer sitting on a shelf at Home Depot with an American-sounding name, a flag somewhere on the packaging, and a manufacturing address on the back that traces to a factory in China. That is not an accident. That is a business decision, and nobody in that aisle is going to point it out to you. American brand and American-made machine are two completely different things. The string trimmer was invented in 1971 by a man in Houston who built his first prototype from a tin can and fishing line. The company he founded no longer belongs to America. The brand that started this entire category is now a Swedish marketing asset. 3 brands still have documented American manufacturing. Most buyers have heard of 1, maybe 2. The third is the entire reason this video exists. And Husqvarna, one of the most recognized names in this category, is not on the list. George Ballas was not an engineer. He was a dance instructor from Houston who got an idea sitting in a car wash in 1971, watching the rotating nylon brushes clean the hard-to-reach spots on his car without damaging the paint. He went home, punched holes in a tin can, threaded fishing line through it, bolted it to a rotary edger, and cut his grass with it. That was the first string trimmer. He founded the Weed Eater Corporation that same year. Sales hit $570,000 in the first year. By 1976, they were over $40 million. One of the fastest product launches in American tool history, built by a man the tool industry had rejected when he tried to sell them the idea first. In 1977, Ballas sold to Emerson Electric. Emerson sold to Poulin. Poulin was absorbed into Electrolux. In 2006, Electrolux spun off its entire outdoor power division, and that became Husqvarna AB, a Swedish multinational headquartered in Stockholm. In 2023, Husqvarna revived the Weed Eater name and put it back on store shelves. The trademark that a Houston dance instructor built from a tin can prototype is now a product line managed out of Sweden. That is the Husqvarna situation. The company has a facility in Nashville, Arkansas, 874,000 square feet, and it appears in the brand's American marketing. That facility handles warehousing and some chainsaw assembly. The string trimmers are not built there. Husqvarna manufactures across Sweden, China, Brazil, and several other countries depending on the product line. The Arkansas address is real. The trimmer production is not happening inside it. This is the gap between a brand's American story and where its machines are actually built. That gap is what this video exists to close. Stihl is a German company. That needs to be said up front because nothing about what follows makes sense without it. Founded in 1926 in Weiblingen, Germany, by Andreas Stihl, a man who watched loggers working forests with axes and muscle and decided there had to be a better way. Not American by origin, not American by ownership, and still the most American string trimmer operation in this entire category. In the 1970s, the Stihl family looked at the United States and saw the largest outdoor power equipment market in the world. They chose Virginia Beach, Virginia, for proximity to one of the country's deepest water ports and a workforce ready to build things. In 1974, Stihl Inc. opened in a rented 20,000 square foot facility with 50 employees assembling one model of chainsaw. That was the beginning. Today, that campus covers 150 acres, over 1.4 million square feet of operating space, more than 2,300 employees, 27 full assembly lines that can be reconfigured to shift production between models, around 155 robots working alongside those employees, none of which have resulted in a single full-time layoff. Virginia Beach is not one of STAL's facilities. It is the largest production site in the entire STAL global operation, larger than anything in Germany, larger than anything in Brazil. More than 75% of all STAL outdoor power equipment sold in the United States is manufactured there. The string trimmer lineup is built there, and that facility produces every inch of trimmer line sold under the STAL name anywhere in the world. A production line running 24 hours a day that generates enough line annually to reach the moon and come halfway back to Earth. Since 2009, Stihl has been the #1 selling brand of gas-powered handheld outdoor power equipment in America every single year. Also ranked #1 in battery-powered equipment among professional landscapers. You will not find it at Home Depot. You will not find it at Lowe's. Steel sells exclusively through a network of more than 10,000 independent authorized dealers, a deliberate decision about who handles the product and how it gets serviced. The label on a steel trimmer reads, "Made in USA with global materials." That is the accurate and FTC-compliant version of the truth. The assembly is in Virginia Beach. The components are sourced globally, German-owned, Virginia Beach built, and the closest thing to American manufacturing this category currently has. Echo does not have the name recognition of Stickle. It does not have the marketing budget or the brand mythology. What it has is a 771,000 square foot campus in Lake Zurich, Illinois, a town most of the country has never thought about, and a manufacturing presence that has been there since 1985. Echo is the largest employer in Lake Zurich, not one of the larger employers. The largest. The company was founded in 1972 in Northbrook, Illinois. Not imported, not rebranded from something foreign, started on American soil, built its operation on American soil, and has been assembling its North American string trimmer lineup in Illinois ever since. That is the through line that matters here. In 2008, Echo became a subsidiary of Yamabiko Corporation, a Japanese company formed from the merger of Kyoritsu and Shindaiwa. Japanese-owned since 2008 is the accurate answer to who controls the company. But the manufacturing stayed in Lake Zurich. Parts arrive from Japan and global suppliers. Final assembly happens in Illinois. Owned in Tokyo, built in Illinois, and that distinction is exactly the kind of thing this video exists to clarify. Before any of that ownership history, Echo was doing something nobody else was doing. In 1975, working out of Illinois, the company introduced the PB9, the world's first backpack blower. In 1978, the PB200, the world's first handheld blower. These were not product improvements. These were categories that did not exist before Echo created them. And both of them came out of an American facility before Made in America became a tagline anyone put on packaging. Professional landscapers have run Echo equipment as daily commercial tools for decades. The trimmer lineup is distributed through more than 6,600 independent dealers nationwide. The machines get used hard, and the company has built its reputation entirely on that. Japanese-owned, Illinois-assembled, globally sourced components. That is the complete and honest answer. It is also the best version of American string trimmer manufacturing available outside of steel, and for a significant portion of the professional market, it is the preferred one. Raymond DeWalt was a factory supervisor in Pennsylvania in the 1920s, facing an impossible production quota and not enough workers to meet it. His solution was to invent his way out of the problem. In 1923, he built the radial arm saw, founded a company around it, and started one of the longest-running American tool brands in history. That is the origin. What happened in between is the part the brand does not lead with. By 2002, DeWalt's manufacturing had almost entirely moved offshore. China, Mexico, Japan, Korea, Thailand. An American brand with an American founder and an American legacy building, virtually nothing in America. That is not a rumor or an interpretation. The company has confirmed it. The tools were being made overseas and shipped back to the country that invented the brand. On Veterans Day 2013, DeWalt announced Project Eagle, a public, named deliberately timed commitment to bring manufacturing back to the United States. The timing was not accidental. The name was not accidental. The company understood what it had walked away from and made a documented decision to return. Today, DeWalt assembles string trimmers and other power tools across 7 manufacturing facilities in the United States, most of them concentrated on the East Coast. The program has been rebranded as Made in USA with global materials. Components come from Brazil, China, the Czech Republic, Italy, and Mexico. Final assembly happens in America. The label is accurate, and it tells you exactly what the supply chain looks like if you read it. In 2023, DeWalt celebrated its 100th anniversary, a century-old American brand that went fully offshore and then made an investment-backed factory-building decision to come back. The FTC tightening its Made in USA standards in 2022, raising the domestic content threshold and scheduling further increases through 2029, means that return is not optional to maintain going forward. The pressure is regulatory now, not just reputational. American-owned, East Coast assembled, globally sourced parts. The most American thing about DeWalt is the ownership. The most honest thing about DeWalt is the label. Walk into any big box retailer and look at the string trimmer aisle. Ryobi, Ego, Greenworks, Craftsman. Every major brand on those shelves manufactures its products entirely overseas, primarily in China and South Korea. The American flags and founding stories on the packaging are real. The domestic manufacturing is not. That is the standard in this category, not the exception. Stihl, Echo, and DeWalt are the exceptions, and even those exceptions have a ceiling. Stihl is German-owned, Virginia Beach-built, and globally sourced. The most American operation in the category in practice, regardless of where the headquarters sits. Echo is Japanese-owned, Lake Zurich-built, and globally sourced. American by location, foreign by ownership, and honest about both. DeWalt is American-owned, East Coast assembled, and globally sourced. The brand is domestic. The supply chain is not entirely. None of them are perfect on this question. All three are the honest answer. Because the complete answer, the one nobody's putting on packaging, is that a fully American-made string trimmer does not exist. Not one built from raw material through every component to the finished product on American soil. The question was never whether you could find a perfect option. You cannot. The question is how much of the process stayed here, and these three kept more of it than anyone else did. 3 brands: Stihl in Virginia Beach, Echo in Lake Zurich, DeWalt across 7 American plants. Stihl for the buyer who wants the most American-built option this category has. Echo for the professional who wants Illinois-assembled commercial reliability and does not need the brand name to feel confident about it. DeWalt for the homeowner who wants an American-owned company that left, came back, and has spent the last decade building factories to prove it. Every other trimmer on that store shelf was built somewhere else entirely. The box will not tell you that. The store floor will not tell you that. Now you know.